I fervently hope that MTE is not just about competing and winning awards. Most importantly, it has to be about cultivating an innovative mindset within the society, bringing entrepreneurs as well as scientific and technology tech communities together to find common ground by collaborating and working towards bringing better technology solutions, innovative products to the world.
I hope that this 3-day event will provide substantial opportunities for participants from multifarious backgrounds to not only display their innovations and inventions, but also to seize the opportunity to interact, discuss, and exchange ideas on the latest techniques and technology that will eventually benefit all, inshallah.
MTE provides a conducive platform for innovators to promote their invention through various innovative approaches, as well as to expand. So this exhibition also allows them to find potential investors or customers to help in marketing and commercializing their invention products in the market.
We need to continuously inspire, ignite and innovate our youth to make sure that they will become prosumer.
We want to thank our partners, ProTan Group and team, with over 20 years experience in organizing such an event for making this possible.
We came from Poland,
Vietnam, country Croatia,
Iran, Taiwan,
Bali, Indonesia.
So far it's been extremely interesting to see a broad range of technical and scientific endeavours.
We made a lot of contacts regarding next step with university community and with real sector community.
We are very glad we are here and for this great exhibition.
Very high performance, and that we show what the technology we have.
It is indeed my privilege to welcome all participants to the Malaysia Technology Expo 2020 Special Edition the COVID-19 International Innovation Awards. Thank you for joining us, especially all the international participants.
Saya bagi pihak NADMA Malaysia mengucapkan terima kasih
syabas kepada MTE 2020 COVID-19.
It is my pleasure to join you today at the Malaysia Technology Expo MTE 2020 Special Edition COVID-19 International Innovation Awards ceremony to recognize and celebrate the hard work of those among us who constantly push the boundaries of innovation. I would like to congratulate all the winners as well as your team members who have been supporting you throughout your journey.
MTE 2021 Virtual Edition will be the catalyst in encouraging innovators and inventors to share and inculcate innovativeness and sustainability in their research. Innovation is not just about making new and better products. It encompasses all aspects of ideas, processes, systems, services, methods and models.
As large gatherings are no longer encouraged, I'm happy to see that MTE has gone virtual. This will allow more innovators and to promote their innovation and share their ideas with the world.
We look forward to Universiti putting a strong efforts to forge strategic collaboration with industry to generate new sizes, innovations and commercial entities.
There may come a day in the near future when we have overcome this crisis, but our innovations may be able to assist another country in their fight against the pandemic.
To lift student engagement and attainment in innovation and to support teachers and improve student outcome, innovation and technopreneur mind.
Involving youth at an earlier stage is important, especially as Malaysia is slowly but surely becoming a greying nation. Innovation alone is not sufficient. We must also create an infrastructure for incubation of ideas and transform them into successful ventures.
Enhancing not only in the design but also the delivery of public goods and services for the people. Innovation in government is imperative not only to transform but also to stay ahead of change.
The quick responses to protect the citizens from COVID-19 shows the unity of the nation. Know that your contribution is critical to the transformation of our country.
I'm fully confident that this year's MTE IIA, albeit on a new normal platform and approach, has achieved its desired impacts.
It has been nurturing the innovation culture among scientists, researchers, students and startup founders in order for them to transform their ideas into business ventures.
UniMAP menerajui kejuruteraan dan teknologi untuk kemanusiaan.
2002, Kementerian meluluskan penubuhan Kolej Universiti Kejuruteraan Utara Malaysia IPTA yang ke-17 di Malaysia. 2007, penjenamaan semula Kukum kepada Universiti Malaysia Perlis. UniMAP menawarkan program pengajian peringkat diploma, sarjana muda, sarjana dan doktor falsafah. Susulan persetujuan semula universiti pada September 2020, UniMAP kini mempunyai 6 fakulti yang menawarkan lebih 40 program pengajian. Fakulti Teknologi Kejuruteraan Elektrik, Fakulti Teknologi Kejuruteraan Elektronik, Fakulti Teknologi Kejuruteraan Mekanikal, Fakulti Teknologi Kejuruteraan Kimia, Fakulti Teknologi Kejuruteraan Awam, Fakulti Sains Gunaan dan Kemanusiaan. UniMAP berterusan menjalankan penyelidikan yang memberi manfaat kepada semua. Penyelidikan teknologi nano di UniMAP menjurus kepada kajian pengesanan penyakit berkaitan mikrobiologi dengan lebih cepat, mudah dan tepat. Alat khas yang dikenali sebagai kit HPV-CC mempunyai sensitiviti yang tinggi dalam mengesan penyakit kanser serviks lebih awal hanya melalui air liur. Dengan mengaplikasi teknologi rumah hijau, Institut Agroteknologi Lestari UniMAP berjaya menemui kaedah penghasilan mempelam harum manis Perlis sepanjang tahun. Sistem pemantauan rumah hijau dibangunkan bagi mengawal suhu, kelembapan dan tahap gas karbon dioksida agar persekitaran yang kondusif untuk pertumbuhan dan pemantauan harum manis dapat dicapai. Sistem pemantauan bas yang dibangunkan oleh Pusat Kecemerlangan Teknologi Sensor Termaju, UniMAP memberi kemudahan pemantauan yang efisien kepada pelajar untuk mengetahui pergerakan bas universiti. Di bawah program tanggungjawab sosial UniMAP, sumber tenaga alternatif yang dikenali sebagai EPS Kit telah dihasilkan. Saban tahun, UniMAP melahirkan alumni yang gah yang berkhidmat di serata dunia.
Banyak benda-benda yang berkaitan dengan kepimpinan, benda-benda teknikal, saya belajar daripada UniMAP. Walaupun bidang dia sekarang sudah jauh berbeza, tapi logik, problem solving, banyak benda yang saya pelajari di UniMAP secara asas banyak membantu saya lah dalam berjaya dalam kehidupan yang ada sekarang.
Pengalaman belajar di UniMAP sangat membantu kerana kurikulumnya dibina berdasarkan industri, berdasarkan keperluan dan kehendak semasa industri.
Pembelajaran di UniMAP banyak membantu saya mempersiapkan diri, latihan, soft skill yang ditawarkan dalam menghadapi cabaran dalam industri yang didominasi oleh lelaki amnya.
So sebenarnya UniMAP jadi lebih kepada hands-on, lebih kepada cara kita berfikir dan berniaga. Sebenarnya daripada telecommunication, tetapi saya terlibat dalam aquaculture product disebabkan ilmu yang kita dapat daripada UniMAP. Kita adalah engineer.
Para penyelidik UniMAP diiktiraf di peringkat global dengan memperolehi pelbagai geran antarabangsa.
UniMAP pilihan pertama saya kerana program yang ditawarkan berfokus dan menempati kehendak industri.
Selain akademik dan penyelidikan yang merupakan teras utama universiti, bidang sukan, kebudayaan dan kesukarelawanan turut dimantabatkan. Ini terpulang kepada pelajar untuk memilih apa yang diminati.
Kejayaan dan pencapaian yang terukir meletakkan UniMAP di mata dunia.
Pelbagai pencapaian telah diraih sehingga kini, termasuklah tersenarai sebagai antara 700 universiti terbaik di dunia. Berteraskan ilmu, keikhlasan dan kecemerlangan, UniMAP akan terus maju ke hadapan dengan penuh keyakinan untuk masa depan yang lebih gemilang. UniMAP, mantap!
Ladies and gentlemen, our next lined-up program is a knowledge sharing session. Please enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to inform everyone and all the audience that this preparation for the knowledge sharing session and the whole event is organized during the MCO 3.0. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all. Welcome to a knowledge sharing session titled Issues and Challenges in IHL During COVID-19 Pandemic by our esteemed panelists from Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation and 4 universities under the flagship of Malaysian Technical University Network MTUN. I'm happy to introduce Yang Bahagia TS Dr. Muhammad Nur Azman bin Hassan, Deputy Secretary General, Technology Development, Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation MOSTI. Yang Bahagia Professor Datuk TS Dr. Wahid bin Razzaly, Vice Chancellor, Universiti Tun Hussein Malaysia UTHM. Yang Bahagia Professor Dr. Abdullah Ibrahim, Senior Dean College of Engineering Technology, Universiti Malaysia Pahang UMP. Yang Bahagia Profesor RR TS Dr. Muhammad Rizal bin Arshad, Acting Vice Chancellor, Universiti Malaysia Perlis UniMAP. Yang Bahagia Profesor Dr. Zulkifilie Ibrahim, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and International, Universiti Teknikal Malaysia Melaka UTeM. This webinar, this knowledge sharing session, ladies and gentlemen, is moderated by Yang Bahagia Associate Professor TS Dr. Norzila Othman, Director, Innovation and Commercialization, Universiti Tun Hussein Malaysia UTHM. Without further ado, I would like to hand over the floor to Professor Norzila. Please enjoy. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Norzila binti Othman from Innovation and Commercialization Center UTHM. It's my pleasure to be a moderator for today. Welcome to the webinar with the title Issues and Challenges in IHL during COVID-19 pandemics. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, allow me to introduce our special guest for today. Our first panel, Yang Berbahagia TS Dr. Muhammad Nur Azman bin Hassan, Deputy Secretary General, Technology Development in the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation Malaysia. Welcome, Yang Berbahagia, Doctor. Today, we also proudly to have 4 panels from Malaysian Technical University Network or MTUN, from UTHM, UniMAP, UTeM and UMP. The first MTUN panel from UTHM. Welcome Yang Berbahagia Prof. Datuk TS Dr. Wahid Razzaly, the Vice Chancellor of Universiti Tun Hussein Malaysia. Welcome Yang Berbahagia Datuk.
Thank you.
Represent the Universiti Malaysia Perlis, we do have Yang Berbahagia Prof. IR TS Dr. Muhammad Rizal Arshad, the Acting Vice Chancellor for UniMAP. Welcome Yang Berbahagia Prof.
Thank you, terima kasih.
Our next MTUN panel from Universiti Teknikal Melaka. Welcome Yang Berbahagia Prof. Dr. Zulkifilie bin Ibrahim, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academy and Internationals, UTeM. Welcome Yang Berbahagia, Prof.
Norzila.
We also have panel from UMP, Yang Berbahagia Prof. Dr. Abdullah Ibrahim, the Senior Dean, College of Engineering Technology, Universiti Malaysia Pahang. Welcome Yang Berbahagia, Prof.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay, as we know, the first known COVID-19 cases was identified in Wuhan somewhere in December 2019. Since that, the disease has spread worldwide and turned into pandemic. And it takes only few months to strike everybody's life, including staff and students in the IHL. Today, we want to listen the sharing on managing several issues in IHL during COVID-19 pandemic. So, without further ado, may I ask Yang Berbahagia, Prof. Dr. Abdullah from UMP. Prof, can you share with us how UMP communicate to staff and students during COVID-19 pandemic? As we know, most of the staff are working from home and most of the students are not in campus. With all due respect, we welcome you, Yang Berbahagia, Prof.
Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, as we all know about this question, almost all institutes of higher learning, or we call it as the university, have infrastructure in place to communicate with their students and staff about everything, okay? And I believe these institutes of higher learnings using existing communication platforms in order to inform their students and staff, especially about this now pandemic COVID-19. So I think so many more platforms that are using by other university, including UMP or Universiti Malaysia Pahang, where we actually prepared a variety of platforms. I think, I don't know whether we are going to discuss further. I can elaborate further, but for this first question, maybe I would like to share, because Universiti Malaysia Pahang has our own platform. We call it as e-community or e-com, where all the information, including management, financial, academics, okay, to put a memo, to address the appointments, all within this e-com, where this e-com can be accessed by students and staff anywhere, anytime. They just put in an account and go in this account, e-com, and then they will access everything. Besides other platforms like Instagram, Facebook, email, and so on and so forth. This is my first answer for this question. Thank you.
Thank you, Yang Berbahagia, Prof. It's a brief, but yeah, I could understand. It's a good attempt or build up the e-community, Prof. So if other university like UniMAP or UTHM itself, Prof. Datuk or Prof. Zul from UTeM, you would like to share anything with regards to how to communicate with staff and students? You're welcome.
Okay, from UTeM, Prof. Zul, I think the most important thing, communication with the student. Okay, because student is our main customer. So many changes on the regulation, okay, guideline and policy. And immediately, you know, the decision made by the top management of university. So all the information need to be distributed, okay, cascade down from lecturer to the student. So how, from the, you know, it's an initiative, a new initiative from UMP to make it more efficient, the communication and information directly to the student. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Zul. Yes, I believe whether we like it or no, once the communication cascade down, we have to use many attempts of media socials nowadays. Whether we like it or no, that was the best attempt. Thank you.
Yeah.
Shall I move to the second question? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, so now I would like to move to the second question. The question is, how is the enrollment for new academic semester for local and foreign students, as well as foreign student mobility? For this question, can we listen to Yang Berbahagia, Prof IR, TS Dr. Muhammad Rizal Arshad from UniMAP? Can you share a few words, Prof? You're welcome.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Moderator, Dr. Norzila Othman, Associate Professor Dr. Norzila Othman, my esteemed colleague, Datuk Wahid, Prof, and also Prof Abdullah from UMP. I'm happy to be part of this morning discussion, today's discussion. So with regards to enrollment for new academic semester, I think the pandemic in the context of our country, Malaysia, it started on the 18th of March 2020. And I think as a public university, most of us were in the middle of the second semester, if I'm not mistaken, in the last year academic session, 2019-2020, for the second semester session. So we had to, I think most of university when the country went into lockdown, a total lockdown, all higher institutes of higher learning were asked to stop in terms of teaching and learning. Everything stops. I think some of us stops for 2 weeks, some of us stops for longer. But for UniMAP, our teaching and learning process activities stopped for about 2 weeks, and it restarted on the 6th of April last year. So that gave us around, and the semester extended until I think middle of August, I think, until we complete everything for the second semester. But this has, in a way, gave us a lot of rooms in terms of appreciating what's needed for us to get ourselves ready for the new semester 2021, like in October last year. So this is related directly to the issue of enrollment for the new academic semesters, especially for the local, with regards to the local students. There were a lot of issues in terms of the financial issues for our students, because quite a number of people were affected in terms of their income were affected, especially those from the B40, and even the middle income groups have been affected in terms of the lockdown. Some have lost their jobs, fathers and mothers, they lost their jobs. These directly affect in terms of the financial readiness of the children to go into the university. So the financial consequences of the crisis were very clear, has affected in terms of enrollment, and that's one aspect in terms of the complexity where the university has, and of course we had an issue in terms of ensuring that the student have the adequate entry-level requirements for them to enroll into the programs. And in normal circumstances, the student would have the opportunity, for example, to take, MOET, for example, as an entry requirements. But last year, it has affected not just local, even foreign students. They cannot take MOET, as an example. So that has affected in terms of the student having the adequate entry-level requirements to enter into the programs. So in terms of enrollment, it has been affected in terms of numbers, in terms of quality of students, in terms of the number of programs that we have been opted for by the students. But then it was at the beginning. But at the end of by the end of the enrollment period, I think we have somehow, not just UniMAP, many of the, in fact, almost all public universities have managed to ensure that our system can adapt, have adapted to the changes in terms of the circumstances. So what I'm saying is that the way we address in terms of the financial constraint, and the way we have addressed in terms of ensuring that the student will still fulfill the entry level requirements in normal circumstances, but now in a pandemic situation. So we have somehow adapted our requirements so that ensure that we still have the students and entering or registering into the programs, either locals and foreign. But we have to somehow change. We have to be creative about it. We have been creative in terms of providing alternative admission or an alternative enrollment process. So I think it's very clear that last year we had to move from physical into virtual kind of mode of enrolling students. I think, if I'm not mistaken, almost all, if not all, public university for the first year student, for the first semester, almost all of them are, and for the first few weeks, are not coming to university. I think if you remember, only selected students are allowed. I remember the Minister of Higher Education giving circulars permitting the first year student and the final students to come, and I think 4 to 6 categories of students coming back. But then still, because of the uncertainty in terms of clusters throughout the country, even that we did not manage to bring everyone back to the campus, even the first year students. So I think that have changed. That has changed basically in terms of how we deliver the content of our academic program. But with regards to the enrollment process, we have been able, I think, all of the public universities have been able, even the private universities have been able to adapt to the restriction in terms of physical presence coming to the campus, in terms of ensuring that the content of the academic program can still be delivered via online. That's with regards to the enrollment. But with regards to the foreign student mobility, as we all know that the borders have been closed for a number of months. I think until the end of last year, no international students can come into Malaysia. But I think if we remember, the Minister of Higher Education did permit or allow the student to register online, but only physically be present in January 2021. I think that was the decision made towards the end of last year, October last year. So we did utilize that permission, and I think with regards to in terms of UniMAP, we did the promotion in terms of offering courses to international students. But of course, students, of course, as much as we have financial constraint, entry level changes in terms of inadequate entry level requirements that have been faced by our potential foreign students. So the number have dropped significantly. I'm not sure about my colleagues in other MTUN, but I'm pretty sure they have also been affected in terms of number of foreign students that can join our program. So foreign student mobility has been, I would say, seriously been affected, but because there was physical constraint. But since we have migrated towards virtual mobility, I think in terms of international collaboration, that has been sorted out by replacing the physical mobility at the student and postgraduate, and also staff to virtual mobility. But in terms of specific foreign student mobility with regards to new student joining our UniMAP, for example, we got a number, but very limited because of just to be straightforward about it. I think we do not, in UniMAP, we do not have for example, undergraduate program that is 100% online, because Teknikal University, you have to have the lab, etc. You cannot do it online. So we do not have any one full 100% online program for international students. So that permits our versatility in terms of offering the program. But to answer the question, yes, we have been affected, but we have learned, and now we have figured out a number of ways in order to get new students coming in by offering new full online programs, by preparing students, do twinning programs with our international partners, by ensuring that we are giving feedback to the immigration officers, so that we hope that along one of these coming months, students from, I think, start from early this year, some countries have been allowed to come into Malaysia, and now they are now allowed to come into Malaysia. But of course, once they come into Malaysia, there are other complications. So I think foreign mobility have been affected, but now we have adapted to the system, I think. Sorry for my long answer. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Dr. Muhammad Rizal. Is a very depth, and I believe the same experience we experience down here at UTHM. And then whether we like it or no, we do have to adopt the new norms in student enrollments. We also need to adopt new norms in helping the student, especially on financial support, as well as student mobility, for whether from the national student or international student. Okay, before I go to the next question, can I listen from Prof. Abdullah? Do you have any more things to add in with regards to the student on the communications, Prof? Welcome, Prof.
Yeah, thank you very much, Moderator. As I said earlier, I think that there's some more explanation regarding the students and staff, the way that we communicate with them. Actually, the lockdown really gives us an immediate challenge to the universities to strengthen their communication means, either infra or infrastructures, to ensure effective and clear information reach the students and the staff. Okay, so the challenge with the communication are not necessarily linked to access to the infrastructure only, but also the challenge in keeping a good flow. I mean, there must be a flow, a good flow, sequentially, less bureaucratic and so on, so that it will reach the students faster and quicker. Okay, so now actually our part in IIHL or Institute for Higher Learning, we rather question how to plan and manage a clear communication stream to provide the necessary guidance in crisis aroused during this high level of uncertainty. We have lockdown, very uncertain, sometimes lockdown 2 weeks and extend. So this give us a challenge, especially to top management, to really prepare and manage so that the flow of communication, can go in order. Okay, now our part in institutions to think of, we know that our young generation now, social media such as Facebook, Instagram, already in their hands, So these could be part of medium of communication with students and staff. Okay, so the uniqueness of this kind of communication streams depends actually on individual as well. I mean, the university or institutions have their own style to prepare the platforms to communicate with staff and students effectively during this pandemic. Okay, so I think, for example, like I said earlier, like UMP, we have this e-com, which is very efficient, where in the e-com or e-community, they have actually, when you check into this account, on top of your screen, you can see like a memo, immediate. You have memo, you have appointments, you have like this looks like a diary for you. You know what is today actually. What is your activity today? So this is a kind of platform that officially used by UMP to communicate with the students. Okay, So creating, I think based on UMP's experience, maybe I believe same goes to other university as well. Creating a WhatsApp group is another option, which is very efficient. You know, this because the information, we can blast the information immediately. You know, from top management down to faculties, down to supporting staff, and then goes to students. You know, so some may use email, some may use Telegram, some may use telephone call for them to communicate with the students during this pandemic. And I would like to add one other thing, which is it is important in our institutions to have during this COVID-19 some sort like a crisis management task force. Okay, so this, I think this task force acts like frontliners, you know, for to the universities, which I think may be different in approach. So once again, if I can take UMP as example, so we have University Health Center, okay, inside this task force. We have security and a few representatives from different departments in the university, you know. So these persons will always report, you know, about the affected cases in the campus. So they have a group WhatsApp. They have cases in the report in group WhatsApp to the top management WhatsApp group, and top management will stream down all this information to other staff as well as the students. So that the case will be made known to everybody in the campus. So once they know this, so they also announce or remind us to take extra care, extra measure towards SOP compliance. Okay, so this UMP does this all time just to alert the staff about the COVID. Okay, this is from me for this time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof.
Yeah.
Okay, a few ideas have been added, which relates to a good flow, clear guidelines, flow of the communications, and the use of social media like Instagram, Facebook, as well as Twitter, effective communications through WhatsApp group or Telegrams, and also a crisis management task force. And I believe the same goes to other universities where these attempts have been used throughout the COVID-19 happening. Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Okay, after listening from the two panels, we are now moving to the next panel. The third panel's question is to Yang Berbahagia, Prof. Dr. Zulkifilie Ibrahim from UTeM. The question is, through your experience as Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academic and Internationals in UTeM, can you share with us, Prof, effect on teaching and learning using the new norms during COVID-19? Welcome, Prof.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning to everyone, to the moderator and to the panelists. So, thank you for inviting me for sharing in terms of teaching and learning, the challenge, the issue, and also the impact to the student, to the lecturer, and also to our education system. So as we know, COVID pandemic has created the larger disruption in higher education system. So this become push factor for university to adapt. This is a new requirement, new environment, and also to implement. Definitely, we need to implement fully online learning system. We have no choice. Okay, we cannot stop the teaching and learning activity. So we need to prepare our student, graduate on time. Okay, I think the biggest issue due to the sudden changes and because of the pandemic, so sudden changes from the conventional classroom learning approach to virtual learning. Okay, virtual learning or online learning. But at the same time, we need to maintain the quality. This quality is important. Okay, teaching and learning quality. Yes, we can conduct online, but at the end, this quality of teaching and learning and reflect to the quality of our graduate. Okay, but definitely we need to maintain our program outcome, okay, the learning outcome for every academic program. I think for the first challenge, okay, in terms of the course content and also the mode of delivery. So we need to really transform or redesign or improve our existing slide presentation, okay, into more comprehensive and more effective for the student to learn, okay, to learn. So there are several main components we need to include, okay, in the material, in the lecture material, for example. So each session, we need to include the learning outcome. This is very important, make it more clear for the student. Okay, and then definitely we need to put proper instruction and effective content creation as a guideline for the student. Okay, and definitely the learning resources, the online lecture, and maybe we can add another component, pre-recorded presentation. For example, we link to the YouTube. So a lot of material in YouTube related to our content and topic. And then we can help the student to link to specific web page related to the topic learned. And then because of this online, so we need to make sure the student activity together with the lecturer, and at least we include in the lecture session at least one activity per topic. So another useful information we can add to make it more comprehensive, our lecture note and so on. Please, for the lecturer to put the right idea, comment and sharing resources using chat, for example, and verbally need to present to the student. We need to tell our student, okay? Then we need to also to present the student work to everyone in the classroom. So make it lecture session more attractive, so everybody participate in the activity. So the most important factor, the role, this is a most important role for the lecturer to get the student to actively participate in the session by encouraging, motivate to ensure effective learning continues for the student. Okay, another option for lecturer might be to conduct asynchronous learning mode. Okay, as we know, 20 minutes of asynchronous learning time is equivalent to approximately 1 hour face-to-face teaching or synchronous teaching. Okay, we can achieve this by including several main components. For example, we need to put a pre-recorded lecture or tutorial or lab session, and also we integrate with the video recording of your computer, our computer screen. And also we can combine audio, make it more effective with the slideshow, and also put a storytelling presentation. It's very important, so students know what is the process step by step, okay? And make it interactive content. For example, we can also integrate with the simulation, make it more clear, okay, for the student. And another tool, we can use virtual reality, okay, or augmented reality to make it more comprehensive and more useful. And we can link to media social and web. And last one, the last component is student activity tool, make it forum, feedback, and also discussion, some discussion. So another second issue on the lecturer online teaching capability and also competency is very important. The content, one component, but the delivery is very important depending on the lecturer capability and also creativity. Okay. In terms of level of readiness, is it our lecturer ready to transform, to learn a new way of learning, and also to the student to adapt the new way of learning process and so on. And also we expect our lecturer able to apply knowledge using ICT tool. We have no choice. Okay, choose proper learning platform. Like so many platforms outside there. Okay, and don't forget to implement our student-centered learning approach. This is a concept where the lecturer facilitate a student learning-centered approach, blended learning, hybrid learning, and also synchronous and also asynchronous learning mode. Therefore, I think university need to continuously equip or train our lecturer with require knowledge, new knowledge and skill, with a new model of delivery, come up with a creative way to conduct online classes to be more efficient and acceptable to all category of students. Okay, next there is a third issue in terms of the challenges, the challenge and also the issue in the implementation of the new pedagogy approach and also accreditation. In some cases, in some cases, MTUN is a technical university, so most of our curriculum subject contain 50% minimum practical and lab work. Okay, for example, engineering technology program and also Bachelor of Technology program. These are skill-based academic program. So the practical work is very important. So during the MCO, students not in the campus. So even they cannot access the equipment and all the facilities. So we need to come up with a solution. And we have the best equipment facilities in the lab, but the student cannot assess and cannot conduct, perform any experimental test and exercise. So I think my suggestion, so we need to connect all the equipment facilities, connect to the internet. So meaning that the student can conduct minimum experimental work or capture all the data, important data, do some analysis directly from their remote location. Okay, another concept, this is about BTech program, Bachelor of Technology, where the concept of work-based learning. Okay, so we're familiar with the 2U, 2I, okay, 3-1I, where students spend 2 years in the university, another 2 years in industry. But we need to clearly provide the guideline and the academic regulation to make sure the quality at the industry is equivalent, okay, especially on the assessment and so on. So this definitely we need to come up with a new regulation, okay, guideline, okay, because all the assessment done by the industry expert. So this is another issue. At the end, university need to ensure all these programs need to be accredited by the regulatory body. Okay. Okay, back to the accreditation issue. So it is our duty as a lecturer and also as administrator, top management, and also university responsibility to ensure all academic programs are fully accredited by regulatory body, for example, MQA, Board, or BM, and also our graduate also recognized by the professional body. So for student and parent, so don't worry, this is our priority, top priority, and it's our duty to make sure all the academic programs are accredited. So next issue on the is very important. It's about integrity, so academic integrity, and also final exam management, how we manage. So all the assessment done through online. So based on the previous literature review, so majority of our lecturer believe so it is easier to cheat in online assessment, okay, online exam, due to availability of technology that facilitate the student unethical behavior. This is very important. Okay, for face-to-face exam, then we have very established, very good guideline process, very clear. So for online, we need to quickly come up with our own policy, to strengthen academic regulation, especially for the open book exam. This is very important. Okay, academic misconduct online examination, is the management, and also the exam portal. Okay, student attendance is very important. Okay, to make sure student participate in the teaching and learning activity in the class, and student learning time. This is very also important. Okay, to demonstrate the student learning time fulfill the standard program requirement, and also online student activity. And another issue, impact on the student. This is particularly student satisfaction and the overall learning experience. This is very important. This will reflect the quality of our graduate. If we have very good content, we have very good lecturer, by the end, the perception of student, okay, in terms of satisfaction, okay, in terms of overall learning experience is not fulfill their need and so on. So definitely overall, I mean, perception is very important to manage student. So I think we need to consider also we need to put in more structure to include all the activity related to student. So in general, the cumulative experiences of physical campus community have made a traditional higher education unique and impactful. So also this pandemic also affected the way student interaction and socialize with one another. And these are difficult for students to peer-to-peer communication, okay, through the classroom activities and share their interests among them. And indirectly, this will limit the student ability to gain in the field experience. This is very important. Okay, the field experience is very important. And therefore, they hope our lecturer and the faculty, mainly faculty member, could play more important role, significant role in fostering a social environment in virtual classroom environment. So we need to simulate, okay, at least we achieve the minimum requirement, okay. And our expectation, okay, as a top management at university, lecturers should able to simulate the on-campus experience for students and identify the measurable activity that students have to do online, okay, to closely monitor all the student activity. And another alternative, okay, this alternative for lecturer, they can conduct flipped virtual classroom to obtain the same level of learning effectiveness based on physical flipped classroom. This is very important. This is a future education system. Another issue is about students. Still about student. More student report feeling stressed due to extended screen time, maybe overload with all the assignment and so on, loading. So I think for long term, there might be result the health issue. Okay, this need to be in our radar. Okay, and then our recommendation, lecturers should conduct asynchronous mode due to student constraint, because not all students have a stable internet connection. And with this asynchronous learning mode, students can access the content at anywhere, anytime. This is okay. And also, lecturer should consolidate the training content, utilize live streaming on YouTube, for example, and video technology for recording. So we should put some financial budget to provide the facilities for the recording, live recording. Okay, so therefore, student can fast forward or skip to specific chapter to learn in self-directed and personalized manner. So anytime, anywhere, they can access the content and so on. So for UTeM, we spend more than $1 million to provide all the necessary audio, video recording system in the classroom and in lecture room. And the last component, definitely on the infrastructure. So we need to quickly upgrade our learning tool, okay, support facilities, okay, infrastructure, ICT infrastructure to handle this new norm, okay, both synchronous and asynchronous learning mode. So we have learning management system. So I believe So every university have their own learning management system. In UTeM, we call ULearn. ULearn. So based on this learning management system, support multiple application, support real-time teaching and learning activity, number of user, make it more attractive interface and interactive content. And hopefully, we can use this to design step by step the learning experience together with the article, the paper, ebook, YouTube content, video, online collaborative tool to achieve learning objective. I think the final conclusion, the final word from me, we cannot run away from the online teaching and learning, because e-learning is a part of Industry 4.0. This is for future. So let's work together to strengthen, to improve, so whatever necessary in terms of the system, process, the guideline, governance, just to maintain, make it more relevant. To make it more relevant, because it is become the way forward in higher education. I think that's all. Thank you for me from UTeM.
Thank you very much, Prof.
Hello, my name is Fiona Morris and I am the Education and Science Counsellor based at the Australian High Commission in Kuala Lumpur. On behalf of the Australian High Commission, I would like to congratulate MTE on their 20th anniversary and wish them many more years of success ahead. Thank you.
Hi, I'm the Croatian ambassador in Malaysia. On behalf of the embassy and me personally, I would like to congratulate MTE on the 20th anniversary and wish a lot of success.
Okay, we are now moved to our panel, our special guest from MOSTI, Dr. Mohd Azman. Thank you very much, Doctor. Even though in a very tight schedule, you managed to spend your time with us. I believe that MOSTI already put a lot of attempts during this COVID-19. Can you share with us, Yang Berbahagia Doctor, any specific policy or government support through research fund to the IHL during COVID-19? Welcome, Yang Berbahagia Doctor.
Okay, thank you very much, Norzila. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning to all my colleagues, panelists, Datuk, Professor Tan Sri, dan Doctor. And of course, in this call, we will be discussing about how, especially MTUN, in relation to efforts that we are undertaking the MOSTI. MOSTI, and since last year when the pandemic broke out, we were mainly looking at how we can use technologies, existing ones, and perhaps the low-hanging fruits for us to assist the country to combat this pandemic. So, as of last year, we mobilized at least at MOSTI, we have a research institution with the capability of doing screening and introducing new and faster way of doing screenings. And we thought about how to actually bring this up and assist the frontliners in doing screening at that point of time. We were looking at other resources as well. So MOSTI has this Malaysia Genome Institute, and we partner with with at least 7 other universities that have potentials or capabilities of doing screening, PCR, real-time PCR screening. And that was one of the first efforts when we look at that technology ataupun scientific assistance in combating COVID-19. And then essentially after that, we were looking at how can we leverage on our knowledge in the country to essentially do further sequencing vaccines, of virus that are coming into Malaysia. Whether it's because earlier on it was Wuhan variant, and now we have so many other variants, the Indian variants, the South African variants, and so on. So the next biggest step in relation to technology and science, we look at on top of what we normally share with GIS8 global database for genome sequencing of many kinds of diseases and viruses. We are also trying to get at least 7 or 6 other universities to actually come together as a consortium to do further genome sequencing to ensure that when we know the extent of variants that are coming in, actually tracked and sequenced, so that we can take actions or measures in terms of vaccination. For example, vaccination target based on the variants that are in. For example, in the case of Pfizer vaccine compared to AstraZeneca vaccine and compared to Sinovac vaccine, the efficiency or effectiveness in controlling or rather suppressing the transmission or the severity of Delta variant is better. So when we know the Delta variant's existence, in terms when we do genome sequencing of the locations throughout the country, then it's easier. I mean, it will help in terms of planning for certain types of vaccine to be targeted at that area that may have a lot of cases of the particular variant concerned. So we are partnering. We are looking at Universiti of Malaya, UTeM, I think UniMAP, and several other universities together with MOSTI research institution and IMR of TKM to conduct this exercise. In this regard, we've allocated about 3 million of our research and development fund to conduct 3,000 samples for genome sequencing. And we are also working with MOHE right now, with the KP and also MOH to actually find further support to conduct continuous genome sequencing. So we are doing a lot of at the forefront, including when we talk about vaccine development. Of course, that is on biological, so to speak, biological aspect of the matter. But when you talk about MTUN, we are looking at how certain aspects of biomedical science, biomedical engineering, can also play a role in addressing what do you call that? This kind of vaccines, or this kind of pandemic. We're looking at novel effort or initiatives to track viruses early. For example, using breathalyzer that utilizes algorithms or AI by tracking carbon dioxide emissions from the lungs. If there are any, what do you call that, difference in terms of its profile. So patients that have been infected of COVID-19 has certain, what do you call that, behavior or profile of its breath, of his breath or her breath in the breathalyzer analyzed by AI. So not just the what do you call it, the medical part of it, biological part of it, but also the biomedical engineering part of it, even up to that data analytics. This is where funding or research also looking at to support. So at MOSTI, we have this strategic research fund introduced as part of the Malaysia Grand Challenge. And if you look at the website describing the Malaysia Grand Challenge, we're looking at program level kind of strategic research. We are looking at several projects that form a program that is interrelated. These projects are interrelated to form a program that will address medical issues and healthcare issues as well as other issues. So what I'm saying here is that we would like to urge MOSTI at this time, because there is this fund that each project can go up to 15 million. If a program has 4 projects, then it can go up to as much as theoretically to 60 million. But don't count on, don't just look at the numbers, but the quality of that. If you can do it in an optimal funding manner, then that would better. That would be better. So come up with what we're looking at is a program that comprises of several projects that will form a long-term addressing grand challenges of Malaysia in Malaysia. Maybe perhaps, so we have this 10 on 10 STIE that please take a look at that socio-economic drivers that we would like to address. Energy, biodiversity and culture, forestry, medical and healthcare, education included, to propose program level research. A few projects that can come from several institutions, anchored, jointly, proposed and implemented, but we need to have an anchor institution to actually coordinate it, and propose the government to MOSTI at least in this regard of strategic research fund, so that we can consider for us to actually support it. So essentially, this is the message that I would like to share for us to get more, and better number of quality program level projects, rather than bits and pieces of project level that sometimes when you have finished and have completed the project, you may, the project may result in commercialization, but it's not in many instances going to actually give a high provide ataupun gives high impact solutions to what the country needs. But in terms of program level, then if these two projects can come together and propose this program to solve banjir issue or healthcare issues or even smart city issues, then we will have a total, maybe a bigger, a better comprehensive solution to the nation. Yeah, so Datuk Tan Sri, Professor, a lot of my colleagues here that we have engaged before. Essentially, that is the message that MOSTI would like to share, and hopefully with this, effort together that we are doing, the opportunities are there. We have planned out for this SRF to be awarded in the next 2 months because of the budget cycle. If you do not spend the budget, then it will be returned, and then it's not going to be good for the next year's budget cycle. So I'll have my so that means I have to actually move to the next appointment that I have in my schedule. But hopefully the message that I've shared will probably have shed some light in terms of how we can plan together, working together between MTUNs and MOSTI and in general other IHLs. So thank you very much for providing this opportunity to MOSTI to share this, our thinking, our thought. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Yang Berbahagia, Dr. Nur Azman. Doctor, did you have any spare time if the MTUNs would like to ask some question to you?
I'm already here, and then I'm asked to already move by the police. Cannot stop here. So I really apologize for not having to be able to interact.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, Rata. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, I believe that we already listened to him. The most above all is on genome sequencing, but I think the strength for MTUN, we might be different, but we can see in what rooms we could help the government through MOSTI. So finally, we already came to our panels for today. Okay, our final panels for today is Yang Berbahagia Prof. Datuk T.S. Dr. Wahid bin Razzaly from UTHM. I would like Datuk to share with us how does the impact of COVID-19 on research, Datuk. Like myself, I'm really depends on laboratory's work and I already feel the impact, Datuk. We welcome you, Datuk.
Thank you very much, Norzila, and also respected panels, and also Madam Noren or Prof. Basically, perhaps I would like just to recap what Deputy Secretary General was saying, that there's a lot of opportunity, despite the fact that we are in the period of COVID-19 pandemic. Number one observation is that Prof. Zul just now, earlier on, mentioned about this might be psychological impact of learners. So that's a new research. And also the effectiveness of new learnings or online learnings or whatever that you call it. So that's a new research areas. So, and also Dr. Nur Azman, he was with us before. And had we embarked on such a thing 10 years ago, I think we wouldn't have the problem that we are having now. But had we, and we've been talking about this, had we done this, had we done that, had we done this, had we, and everything. So I think this is the tipping point among the researchers or R&D for that matter during the pandemic. And I believe that the country as a country in Malaysia, that we have good enough thinkers to go about in making sure that R&D in Malaysia is going in the right direction. What I mean is that can we manage during the most stressful period of the country, that's during the pandemic now? I think, do you have food on the table? Yes, okay, right. In fact, I have harum manis posted by Prof. Rizal from UniMAP to my home. It's very nice. Thank you, Prof. Rizal. So despite the fact that we have got a pandemic, things like that, so still harum manis was on my table, which previously wasn't. So perhaps these are issues that I would like to, mention here. First and foremost, number one is that keep on thinking, and we need a good thinking. We need a good strategies among our research fraternities. Even though that Dr. Nur Azman was talking all along about what is the medicines, what is the protective manner that we should do, what is that test that we should have now. But perhaps MTUN is not really in that position to capture that opportunity. But what are we good at? So I guess that what we are good at is we are good in innovation. We are good in collaboration. And for that, I think we are blessed with we have a very close, what we call cooperation between these 4 technical universities. Up north, UniMAP, who is excellent in nanotechnologies and also electronics. And down to the East Coast, we have got UMP, who is excellent in chemical processes and also perhaps automotive industries, and also UTeM is excellent in what we call manufacturing and also perhaps ICT and data analytic or computing, and of course, UTHM, our main area is sustainable technologies and also transportation. So perhaps our areas of research may not be immediately required urgently now by the MOSTI. But remember that we are now in the process of managing the issues. And a bit later, we'll move what we call into how can we recuperate or going for the better in the next few months or few years. Well, I don't know. So perhaps what we need to do now is to make sure that we could map out all the possibilities, the worst scenario that we could have, so that we will not be saying, had we thought of this before, I think this wouldn't happen. So let's, the representative of MTUN think over this seriously. What could we do to make sure that, supporting life after COVID or post-COVID. So perhaps that is the new scenario that MTUN researchers should be embarked on, because basically that we are doing applied research, and therefore applied research is faster gestation period than the what we call proper research, or I would say fundamental research. And I would like also to thank MTE, Malaysian Technical Expo. We have been going from the physicals and now into virtual, and now focusing back into what can we do to support the country in terms of managing this COVID situation with respect to research. So about 17 categories are there for everybody to have a thought on this. So perhaps the grand challenge that Dr. Azman was saying, we could, perhaps not this year because already that winners were selected, I suppose. Betul, Norzila? And then we had quite, a large number of participants, and quite tough, I think, for the judges to select a good one. But perhaps this is a point that in the next MTE, virtual or physicals, that we could team together for the grand challenge that Dr. Azman is talking about. And I do believe that water, food, energy, things like that, so these are already taken care of by some fundamental researchers out there. But in terms of the application, yes, so these are the things that I think MTUN needs to focus on. I think rethinking now, it is time that we have got to do a little bit of rethinking of few things. Number one is the content of our research. That's basically, are we going to the moon, or are we going to the Mars, or are we going down into deep sea, or are we going for what? So I think the content is unlike before, that with a pandemic crossing our way in terms of research ecosystems, that now we know that what we planned sometime does not turn well, that something else turn into our way. And content is something that we've got to rethink. And secondly is the element of technology. So perhaps we've got also to rethink about the level of technology that we are talking about. And of course, the most important is the researchers, the doers, like Prof. Norzila. She said that she cannot go to the lab because of the MTN. But this is only a temporal measure, because at this point in time, we thought that, you see, safety, life is more important than, your research perhaps, but we do allow with exception. And therefore, we should have a new set of researchers. Gone are bygone when you can just travel to London or perhaps anywhere just to talk with the researchers. But now we have got to have it, having to collaboratively online and sending our, samples via GrabFood or something like that, and then analyzing things over some softwares, and finally we come up with the same product or same material. And I guess that is very possible. So with that, I guess that we have a lot of work to do. And I wouldn't want to talk about what's going on in the Universiti MTUN, but I guess I've said that we do allow for some critical areas of research to proceed on. Okay, for example, that if you are doing the research alone on a very specific and important, you're on the final year students, and this is something, and your product is much needed by the country. Yes, personally, that we would like to give you the go on, a green light to do your research. But if you can delay a bit, because I think now we would like to keep the country safe. I think for your information, I'm pretty sad today because a close member of my family passed away yesterday, and today is the funeral day. However, I cannot attend to the funeral because of the COVID-19. So it's quite a trying day today, because but this is the real life that we are talking about. So I would like to propose that we should now attempt to move beyond. Let's go for what we call open system of R&D. When I say R&D, it doesn't mean that research, and remember that innovation is something that's very, very or terribly important in that sense. And I always say to industries, if you like to die off within next week or next month or next year, please don't do research. Don't think. So when I say that, then the industry start to realize, okay, let's stop. What is it that you have at the universities that can support us? So I guess that's basically what I've got to say, that researchers, the ecosystems will change, and the researchers must be willing to change. Otherwise, that they would, just keep the management. Oh, I cannot do my work. I cannot do this, cannot that. Now, I'm not mentioning you, Norzila, but but we must find a new content, a new technology, and also a new way of doing things for researchers. So with that, I thank you to all my colleagues there in MTUN, and also ProTem for having this. And remember that by doing this, I think we keep the country moving. We keep the people with some hope that we can manage the situation. And of course, we should also be talking to our friends in other countries that's having a better life than us. I mean, that they are doing the post-COVID, and how do they manage the learnings? How do they manage the business? How do they manage the research? So I think that's the direction that we should be doing, because already it is a trodden road, and therefore we don't have to, do research on that. Just ask, okay, what have you done? It's just like what we are doing today. So thank you very much, Norzila, and also the rest of the panels. I think I'm taking a little bit of time. Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam.
So I think Datuk already highlighted the MTUN embark and focus on applied research, as well as rethinking of MTUN research and development ecosystem in moving forward during COVID-19 pandemics. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Yang Berbahagia, Datuk and Professor, we already came to the end of the programs. Let me simply wrap up our sharing for today on issues and challenges related to management of staff and students, new norm in teachings and learning, as well as research activity. Lastly, we also already listened the support from the government through MOSTI. To all the panels, once again, thank you very much for spending your time, your valuable time, even at a very stressful and your tight schedule. and you can spend your time with us today. And to others, thank you for listening. Before I end this session, let me sharing a simple quote by Johnny Conn. We have a chance to do something extraordinary, and we are here out of this pandemic. We can change the world, create a world with love, a world with kind to each other, a world where we are kind no matter what class, race, sexual orientation, what religion or lack or what job we have. As love and kindness build our roadmap in MTUN. With that, thank you very much. Till we meet again in the next MTU. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today and special thanks to our esteemed panelists today. Diharapkan kita telah mendapat sedikit sebanyak pencerahan dan info-info penting yang boleh membantu kita memahami keadaannya di waktu pandemik dan MCO yang mana dihadapi oleh students, kaki tangan and everyone di Institute Higher Learning, termasuklah juga setiap genap masyarakat. And the sharing by our special guest speaker just now, Dr. Azman, masing-masing dapat lebih pencerahan. So ladies and gentlemen, I would like now to end this Gilang Gemilang event by thanking everyone again. Till we meet again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. Salam.